Hi, I'm Sean from Academy of Rock. So we've got a song arranged and we're ready to record vocals. Let's take a look at some of the items needed. First, place your mic stand on the ground and make sure it's stable. Next, grab your shock mount or mic clip and attach it to the top of the mic stand. Then, place your mic in the shock mount or into the mic clip. Take your XLR cable and attach it to the mic and to your interface. Lastly, attach your pop filter to the mic stand and place it in front of your mic. If you have a vocal shield, you can attach it at any point in this process. At this point, you can get your vocalist to stand in front of the mic. Adjust the height of the mic so that it aligns with the vocalist's lips. Pointing the mic at the nose might give you a nasal sound, and pointing it at the chin might give you a very thin sound. Next, we'll look at how to properly set the gain for the microphone.
So we're here discussing gain staging. So the first thing to note is that your gain is pretty much a knob that controls how sensitive your mic is. So the higher the sensitivity, the more your mic's going to pick up. And that every room is not silent. So it's going to start picking up noise. So let me show you this by bringing up the gain on the mic that we have here. And you're going to hear the noise in the room. Yeah, so you heard that. That was everything that the mic was picking up in this room. Next, we're going to look at distortion. So I'm going to get a vocalist to say something like check 1, 2, and we're going to hit record, and we're going to analyze the waveform.
Check 1, 2, check. Check 1, 2, 3, check. Check 1, 2, check. Check 1, 2, 3, check. Check 1, 2, check. Check 1, 2, 3.
Alright, so let's take a look. Let's find one that looks good. So over here, you can see that the first one's kind of shaved off the top. So that's a pretty good indicator of distortion. And if you look at this one, or the one to the right of it, you can see that the top is not shaved off and it looks pretty good. Now, as you raise the gain, you're gonna get something like this or this. And if you look at it, top and bottom, they're all shaved off. Now that's a very good indicator of distortion. And as you heard, distortion sounds terrible, especially on vocals. So at all costs, avoid distortion. You cannot fix a distorted track. Last, let's take a look at my vocals. Right, so there's the vocals that you can see coming into the door, and you can see that at the highest point, it's hitting -12. Right, generally -12 is considered like a safe, healthy level. You can go a little bit higher at -9, or you can go a little bit lower at -18. Just remember, listen out for distortion, listen out for room noise, and just make sure it sounds good. That's the only rule that matters, that it sounds good. Alright, so we've discussed gain staging. Let's jump back up.
Now that we set our gain, we can look at monitoring. Monitoring is when the engineer feeds the desired signal to the vocalist or person who is being recorded. There are two types of monitoring: direct monitoring and door monitoring. Direct monitoring happens within the audio interface and allows for the signal to be sent from the interface to the vocalist's headphones. This frees up valuable processing power. Door monitoring happens after the signal is passed through the interface and into the door. The signal is then sent back out from the door, through the interface, and finally to the vocalist. This is when you'll need to use a lower buffer size so that you can reduce latency. However, this will take a toll on your CPU. Try both ways out for yourselves and see which is better for your setup. Now that we've got all that sorted, let's move on to the actual recording.
Alright, so we're back in our DAW, taking a look at vocals. Typically, the first time you record vocals, you're gonna go for something like a single take. You're just gonna hit record and your vocalist is gonna sing. So it's gonna be something like this, right? You're not gonna see any cuts here, it's just the part sung as is.
Baby, I'll never see you again.
Now that's fine. A single take is fine in some sections of a song or maybe for a whole song. But in most pop productions, what you're gonna wanna do is double your takes, right? So let's take a look at the verse, and you can see got lead verse 2 and lead verse original or number 1, right? So let's take a listen to lead verse 2, because as you can see, this was a single take.
Don't wanna see your face again. You're no good for me. I wanna be myself.
So that's the lead verse alone, and with it double tracked.
Don't wanna see your face again. You're no good for me. I wanna be myself. So get on your way.
So you can hear that it thickens up, adds this chorusing effect. So when you double track, you get a bigger, thicker vocal take, and you get this chorusing effect that really spices things up. And the way you get it done is pretty simple. Depends on your vocalist though. What you have to do is get your vocalist to sing almost exactly the same. The way they start and end phrases has to be similar, right? So if you take a look over here, we have one that doesn't end the same. I believe the word is way. Let's take a listen.
Get on your way.
Right, so you can hear that way kind of thing, and that's why I use this fade to adjust that. So if you listen to it now,
Get on your way.
right, that's much better. It ends cleanly, and that's one way you could do it. But if you do record cleanly and your vocalist can end phrases or end start phrases the same way he or she did, that'd be great. Now if you look at it, you can see that these vocal takes it looks like they're chopped up, but they're not. So what's been done here is called comping. You get your vocalist to do like 2, 3, 4 different takes, and you take the best parts and put them together. So that's how these were done. And if you look, you can see this little X. That's a crossfade. So it fades out from this section on the left into the section on the right. Without the crossfades, you're gonna have this pops and clicks and all these noises that are really unnecessary, right? So learn your DAW, whichever DAW that you use, and figure out how crossfades are done, because it's a really important thing. You can see crossfades all across here. It's just to clean things up. Alright, next let's take a look at ad-libs. So you can see the white tracks here, they're labeled whisper. They just accompany the verse tracks, and literally the vocalist whispering.
Don't wanna see your face again. You're no good for me. I wanna be myself. So get on your way. Cause a lot of hurt and pain. Like I was always to blame. It can never be the same. So get on your way.
So those were done just to spice things up a little bit. You can use this technique. It's becoming more popular because of Billie Eilish and the stuff she's done. And let's look at ad-libs. Alright, so look at this. We went through this in the arrangement video. In case you missed it, this is just a little shout of I believe the word is so.
So
Right? So that's a stack. They're all individually recorded. They're not the same track duplicated. And again, if you only had one of these,
so
right? That's a bit weak. If you had 2,
So,
right? A little better. 3,
so,
better.
so.
4, right? So it depends on how big you want it to sound, right? And harmonies. So a little arrangement thing, if we can go back there. If you look at verse 1 in the vocal tracks, we've got no harmonies. But in verse 2, we've got harmonies. And this is just to keep the track interesting and the listener interested. So let's take a look at the harmonies.
Don't forget that I don't need a man to make me understand that I'll always be who I am. I'm perfect the way I am. Can't honestly give a damn. So,
Right, so that's how that whole section goes. And yeah, it kind of changes things like when you're listening to it, no harmonies are coming out from both sides pretty wide, and then you got your soul just like blasting you at the end, right? So yeah, ad-libs are an important bit of vocal recordings. Now you don't have to have your vocalist record everything. These days most sample packs are going to come with some ad-libs. Now the only thing you need to be sure of is that they are in the key of your song. If not, it's going to sound really off. So yeah, that's pretty much it for vocals. Yeah, so stacking vocals or doubling, comping, where you take 4 different takes or 2 different takes depending on how many you want to do, and rearranging them, like taking the best parts from each take and arranging them into the part that you need. So we've got your single takes as well, where, you know, if your song only needs 1 vocal take, then, you know, you can do it in a single take. That'll be great. And you've got stacking vocals again, like in our verse, and we've done it in the chorus. And ad-libs like the whispers and the shouts and harmonies. Alright, so that's our vocals. Let's jump back up.
Great, we've got our vocals. Next week, we'll look at mixing techniques to bring the track to life. See you then!
For more tutorials and tips, please subscribe to the ASUS Singapore YouTube channel or visit the Creators Academy website. See you on the next video.
Create with ASUS.